So we are taking ambient air with a very expensive, high energy use type of a device, capturing the CO2 and sequestering it. I would argue that we already have DAC, or direct air capture, in spades in the form of trees. That's what trees do. Direct air capture is an interesting and emerging technology, which is getting a lot of attention, and in my own personal opinion, a bit too much attention, and a bit too much of the capital is flowing to direct air capture. I see direct air capture, and what is direct air capture? I think it's worth talking a little bit about that. Essentially, what direct air capture involves is pointing these very large vacuum cleaners into the atmosphere. So imagine a very large vacuum cleaner pointing up into the air, industrial size, and that's sucking air out of the atmosphere and separating the CO2 that's in the atmosphere, capturing it and storing it. That's direct air capture. So what I find a little bit troubling is that the amount of CO2 that's in the atmosphere is very, very small. It's less than 0.05%. So we are taking ambient air with a very expensive, high energy use type of a device, capturing the CO2 and sequestering it. I would argue that we already have DAC, or direct air capture, in spades in the form of trees. That's what trees do. They take CO2 out of the atmosphere and they sequester it permanently. So I think we should be planting more trees and spending less money on DAC. Although having said that, on our platform, we welcome carbon that has been sequestered through DAC. We treat it the same way as CCUS carbon, as long as they followed the same procedures as the CCUS facilities, which is these CCUS facilities have a very strict, regulated process in place, because not anyone can inject CO2 into the ground. You need permits for that. You need to go through a fairly vigorous regulatory process to be approved to sequester and inject CO2 into geological formations. That process is called MRV, Monitor, Report, and Verify. And that process also involves measurement. So you're measuring through meters which are approved by the government. So we at CarbonKerma take the measurements. We pre-approve the folks that are capturing the CO2, that we call them sinkers. And those pre-approved capturers then share with us their meter readings, so we can then allow them to tokenize that carbon that they have removed. DAC also is doing this very similar thing, although, again, as I said, in a very inefficient and high-cost way. So having said, as I said before, we welcome their carbon, and they can certainly come in on our platform and get approved and follow the same procedures, and they will be issued tokens for trading on our platform as well.